This next speaker is also another pivotal person, Mikey Boldt. He's from not quite the Great White North, but almost there. Minnesota, you betcha. So he's going to tell us a little bit about some of the tools we use. So take it away, Mikey Boldt. Give him a round of applause.
Thank you, everybody. Mikey, I'm going to talk about running services on Container Runtime. So I'm a member of the Cloud Foundry Platform Engineering team at Pivotal. And we've been spending the last couple of years very focused on integrating partner service software into Pivotal Cloud Foundry. We've worked with a number of partners over those years, and we have over 60 products that customers can download and install. So part of doing that work is we found some patterns that are common for our partner integration. So one of them is very typical, where a partner will package up their software in a BOSH release and deploy that to the Cloud Foundry environment and put a service broker in front of it. And this gives the operators and the application developers a nice interface to their services. So we at Pivotal especially, we love BOSH. BOSH is an excellent infrastructure agnostic operation tool, and it really enables application runtime and container runtime. Our partners, on the other hand, sometimes they struggle with BOSH. It has a bit of a learning curve, and it can end up being kind of high cost to create a BOSH deployment that is for, mostly only used on Cloud Foundry. But with Cloud Foundry Container Runtime, the new Kubernetes tool that we have coming, that opens up a new world for partner services to integrate. Oftentimes, partners already have Kubernetes deployments ready. So we have been exploring using Helm charts to do these partner software deployments instead of a BOSH release. So we think that'll help our partners move a lot faster and lower some of the cost and raise some of the reusability of getting their software deployed on Cloud Foundry. So if we consider that to help out the problem of deploying the software, what more can we do to make this fully automated, limit the amount of code that our partners need to write for a Cloud Foundry integration? What about the service broker? So we've started work on a project that we're calling KeyBOSH. And what this is we're going to take a Helm chart with your software deployment and your Docker containers that it deploys and produce for you a lot of things. Here's an overview. We're going to do just a quick whirlwind tour. Just as a disclaimer, this is work in progress. This is kind of a vision. We'll step through it a little bit, subject to change. But so one thing that we want to do is give the operator a very common feel, the familiar feel of, if you're on Pivotal Cloud Foundry, the service software should be deployed as a Cloud Foundry tile that you would install through Ops Manager. If you're on open source, then the typical ways you do that with applications or BOSH releases. We want to provide a service configuration interface, perhaps automatically generated from the Helm chart to configure plans from the variables in the Helm chart configuration. The application developers should not really notice that these things are running in Kubernetes instead of as a BOSH deployment. They'll just have the typical CF create service and CF bind service interface to their services. Now, when they create an instance of the service, it'll actually run a Helm install of this service software onto a targeted Kubernetes cluster. And once they do that, you can bind that service to an application. And we can use some of the Kubernetes APIs to get the secrets that will give the credentials to talk to the service. And from the service object in Kubernetes, we can get the endpoint, so that the application will be able to talk to the service running in Kubernetes. So we've started in on this. Again, this is a vision. It's kind of a quick whirlwind tour. But to give a little status of where we are now, we have a generic service broker that will actually take a Helm chart and get you a service broker. It'll offer just a single plan right now. We don't have the configuration part yet, but it will do a Helm deploy of a service software with no code. Right now, just a dedicated Kubernetes cluster. The big things we have yet to validate are this service configuration UI. Can we auto-generate that from the Helm chart values, variables in there? And can we automatically get the credentials? So, reading the Kubernetes secrets, is that enough, or are we going to need a little more configuration? And then beyond that, if we think big, what if we turn that on its head and turn it backwards and try to use some CF marketplace services in the container runtime from Kubernetes? Or can we auto-discover Kubernetes applications? And I think what a lot of this comes back to is something that Ansi at Pivotal has driven home is, we want to think about container runtime and application runtime together as an and, not as a choice between them, but the power is really when we use these things together. So, thank you.